October 1942. The North Atlantic, 500 miles from any friendly shore. You are not a sailor. You are bait. Your ship, one of 42, carves through black water so cold it kills in minutes. You know they are already here. The German U-boat Wolfpack. You have heard the hydrophone operator's whispers, the metallic pings, echoing from the deep. You have seen the empty life rafts, the oil slicks that mark where other convoys died. By every known rule of naval warfare, you are already lost. The tonnage war is being lost. The Atlantic is becoming a German lake. Survival for you and for your cargo is not a calculation. It is a superstition. And in the heart of this convoy, a single, unremarkable vessel carries a secret, a lie made of steel and radio waves, a deception so audacious it will turn hunters into the hunted. The rule was simple, brutal, and had governed the Atlantic for 3 years. A convoy spotted is a convoy destroyed. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe for more. Admiral Karl Dentsitz's U-boats operated on a principle of overwhelming force. They would shadow, call in the pack, and strike at night from multiple vectors. Chaos, torpedoes, and slaughter. No escort screen could be everywhere. The math was undeniable. The outcome inevitable. For the Allied commanders, the situation was a hemorrhage. Ships were sinking faster than they could be built. Each morning's report was a ledger of the dead. Desperation was no longer an emotion, it was a strategic reality. And from that desperation, a heretical idea was born. If you cannot hide the convoy, offer the Wolfpack a better one. The architect of this heresy was a group of civilian scientists and naval officers operating in absolute secrecy. Their weapon would not be a bigger gun or a faster ship. It would be a phantom, their creation. The Q-ship concept evolved into a systemic weapon of intelligence warfare, a small, fast vessel specially modified to broadcast a specific, irresistible signature. To German radio interceptors, it would sound like a large, lumbering, poorly defended convoy, a perfect target. This vessel was designated a decoy, but it was not running away. Its mission was to run toward, to broadcast its lonely, vulnerable position directly into the listening ears of the U-boat command bunkers in France. It was a single ship volunteering to sail into the heart of the Wolfpack's domain. No rational commander would send it. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe for more. History insists it should have been a suicide mission. The trap was set with a broadcast, a carefully crafted signal sent on known Allied merchant frequencies, detailing a fictional convoy's course and speed. It was a siren song transmitted into the static in Lorient and Brest. German radio intelligence officers heard it. They plotted the coordinates. The target was ripe, isolated, and moving into the U-boat patrol lines. Dennett's headquarters issued the attack orders. The pack was vectored in, miles away. The real, heavily guarded convoy altered course into the darkness. Holding radio silence, they became ghosts. Meanwhile, the decoy ship codenamed a special missions vessel sailed on, alone under the vast sky. Her crew knew the exact moment the U-boat control had taken the bait. Their own radio intercepts confirmed it. The hunters were now homing in on an illusion, and the illusion was waiting for them. Aboard the U-boats. Confidence was absolute. This was the war of attrition they were winning. The lookout spotted a smudge of smoke on the horizon. The captain raised his binoculars. A single, medium-sized merchantman. It matched the intelligence-perfect lithe straggler, the weak link. They submerged for the final approach through the periscope. The target was a silhouette of perfect vulnerability. No zig, zagging, no visible escort. A gift. What they did not see were the modified deck plates hiding rapid fire cannons. What they did not hear was the dedicated sonar suite listening for their hull. What they did not know was that the ship's cargo was extra fuel oil in buoyancy tanks to keep her afloat after taking hits. The U-boat commander gave the order. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe for more. Torpedo loss. The eel shot from its tube. The trap was now spring-loaded. The weight was a form of torture. Aboard the decoy, every man was at his hidden battle station waiting for the impact they had been ordered to accept. The torpedo struck. A colossal, jarring explosion tore into the pre-weakened hull. The ship shuddered, deliberately listing. Damage control parties, following a rehearsed script, began blowing preset smoke canisters and simulating panic. From the U-boat's periscope view, it was a textbook kill. The victim was mortally wounded, dead in the water, her crew abandoning ship. This was the moment of greatest vulnerability for a submarine, the moment to surface and finish the job with the deck gun, to collect prisoners, to confirm the tonnage. The U-boat captain, eager for the credit, gave the order, surface. The submarine broke through the Atlantic swell, her crew rushing to man the gun. The dying merchantman lay before them. They had just surfaced inside point blank range of a warship in disguise. On the decoy ship, the simulated chaos ceased instantly. The false deck plates and bulwarks dropped away. The concealed 4-inch guns and Oerlikon cannons swung toward the surfaced U-boat. The signal was a single shattering whistle. In that moment, the prey vanished, and in its place stood a hunter. The first salvo was not for the U-boat's pressure hull. It was for her ability to dive. The high explosive shells raked across the conning tower, the hydroplanes, the diesel exhaust vents. Men in steel were torn apart on the submarine's deck. The U-boat captain's last sight was not a crippled freighter, but a wall of flame where his gun crew had been. He screamed the only order left: alarm, crash, dive. But the systems were shattered. The boat, wounded and bleeding air, struggled to submerge. The hunter had been lured into the open, and now the killing blow fell. The ocean, however, is never a duel. It is a battlefield. The decoy's aggressive radio traffic, her lone position, had not summoned one U-boat. It had summoned the pack. While the first attacker was being dismantled, hydrophone operators aboard the decoy heard new threats, metallic pings from the north, then the east. The wolfpack had arrived, drawn to the commotion. The decoy ship was now alone, visibly armed and surrounded. She had won her first engagement, but she was emitting smoke and listing from the intentional torpedo damage. Greatest weapon deception was spent. New sonar contacts converged. The U-boat commanders, realizing the deception, would be furious. Tactical. They would submerge and attack from multiple bearings with spread torpedoes. No amount of hidden guns could stop that. The Phantom convoy had served its purpose, but the ship that created it was now facing guaranteed destruction. Her crew prepared to fight a battle they were never meant to survive. This was the calculus of the trap. The decoy was never meant to fight the pack alone. It was the lure that exposed the wolves. As the first U-boat's oil slick spread, a new sound cut through the water, not the electric whine of a submarine's motor. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe for more. But the deep, thunderous pulse of high-speed screws churning the sea over the horizon, a shape emerged, then another. Destroyers, sleek, gray, and built for this exact moment, they had been shadowing the decoy from just beyond the visual horizon, holding absolute radio silence, their own hydrophones tracking every move. The decoy's distress calls were their signal to attack. The U-boats, focused on finishing the wounded ship, had failed to detect the hunters behind the hunt. The tactical balance of power shattered in an instant. The wolves were now surrounded by escorts with one mission: depth charge every contact into scrap metal. The ocean erupted. Depth charges, set for different depths, rolled from the destroyer's stern racks and fired from their projectors. The dull, concussive thump of underwater detonations became a continuous drumbeat. For the U-boat crews, it was the shift from hunter to prey in its most visceral form. Lights shattered. Hulls groaned under pressure. Men were thrown against pipes in the dark. The sound of metallic hammering followed by the deafening crush of water was psychological warfare. One submarine, caught in a crossing pattern, took a direct charge amidships. The pressure hull imploded instantly. A brief, violent vortex of air and debris was all that marked its end. The decoy ship, still afloat, limped away from the epicenter. Her crew watched as the warships they had summoned worked with cold, systematic fury. This was no longer a battle of stealth, but of annihilation by dawn. The sea was deceptively calm. An oil slick stained a square mile of water. Wreckage bobbed softly, a wood plank, a cork life jacket, a signal buoy. The decoy ship, her pumps fighting the sea, was taken under tow. The destroyer squadron reformed, their sonars still pinging, hunting for stragglers. The immediate trap was sprung. But the real victory was not in the tonnage of steel sent to the bottom. It was in the radio waves. In the German headquarters, a confusion took root. The convoy they had ordered attacked had never existed. A confirmed kill had turned into an ambush that cost them 2 U-boats and their veteran crews doubt. The most corrosive element in war seeped into the process. Were any of the convoy reports real? Was every target a potential warship in disguise? The Wolfpack's greatest strength, its coordinated intelligence, had been infected with a virus of uncertainty. Every shadow on the horizon now held a hidden gun. The campaign of phantoms escalated. More decoy ships, each with improved deception tactics and heavier hidden armaments, took to the sea lanes. They adopted the call signs of real convoys, broadcast fake weather reports, and mimicked the radio discipline of true merchantmen. For the U-boat commanders, the Atlantic itself became a hall of mirrors. The stress was no longer just the depth charge, it was the moment before the torpedo launch. The long observation through the periscope was that a genuine flaw in the... If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe for more. Or a deliberate invitation. Attacks became hesitant. Wolfpacks lingered on the periphery, searching for a mistake that would prove a target was real, wasting precious fuel and patrol time. The mathematical certainty of the tonnage war was crumbling. The invisible lure had done more than sink submarines. It had weaponized paranoia. The hunter, once fearless, was now glancing over its shoulder, questioning the very nature of its prey. By 1943, the tactical deception had evolved into a strategic stranglehold, coupled with improved sonar, long-range air cover, and cracked Enigma codes. The decoy campaigns helped force a pivotal shift. The U-boats were no longer the relentless hunters. They became the harassed, the depth-charged, the ones struggling to even find a target before aircraft appeared from the sky. The human cost of the deception was paid by the decoy crews themselves. They sailed into the jaws of the wolfpack again and again, accepting torpedoes, drawing fire, living in a state of sustained psychological siege. They were not celebrated in headlines. Their victories were classified, their ships listed merely as lost to enemy action if they fell. Their legacy was not a famous battle, but an absence. The absence of ships sunk, the absence of sailors drowned, the absence of a German victory in the Atlantic, a victory built on a foundation of calculated, invisible lies. The final testament to the phantom convoys is written in silence. In the deep Atlantic trenches, alongside the shattered hulls of merchantmen from 1941 and 1942, lie the remains of Type B and Type EX U-boats. Many were destroyed by destroyers and aircraft in direct combat, but a significant number were lured to their end by a signal, a silhouette, a perfect lie. They rest where they were ambushed, their hulls torn open by guns they never saw coming. This was not a battle won by brute force alone. It was won in the minds of enemy commanders, by making the ocean itself seem hostile, by turning certainty into doubt, and by sacrificing a few to save the many. The war moved on, the technology changed, but the principle remained. Sometimes, the most powerful weapon is not the one that destroys, but the one that convinces the enemy to destroy themselves. The invisible lure. The ghost that won a war. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe for more.